Hey, this is Angela Moorad at Amazing Kids AAC Consulting. Wanted to let you know that I'm adding a new row in the top iOS symbol-based AAC apps feature matching resource for vocabulary related to emergencies, natural disasters, like pain scale, medical conditions, that kind of stuff. This is prompted by someone in one of the AAC groups asking specifically where the word emergency was. And I was like, you know what? When I searched, that particular word wasn't available in quite a few apps, which I found very interesting. Of course, you could edit to add it, and then people had a discussion about where you might add it in that app. But that led me down the rabbit hole of wanting to compare for the vocabulary that's already existing in the top iOS symbol-based AAC apps. And my criteria to get a yes on this is that it's easy to find, it's quick to access within 3 hits or less, and that it has a good amount of pre-made vocabulary. Just the fact, like the word emergency being in there, things like an emergency helpline or 911, various natural disasters, some have a pain scale, some have some medical conditions listed. Of course, you would need to personalize that, but as far as the base essentials, I will make a side note here that it would be extremely important to help teach this to an AAC user to make sure they know where that vocabulary is and that it's available before you're in an emergency. An emergency situation is not the time to be trying to search for where these words would be. So I'm going to give you a quick overview of the 3 winners in this. Avaz, AAC, as long as you're in USA English, the most current update on iOS. Eventually we'll see this over in Android, but what I'm showing you will be on the largest grid size in the most recent update. Speak for Yourself has it all within 2 hits, and Weave Chat AAC has it all, and it would be available and identical to what you're seeing on iOS, Android, and Amazon Fire. So let's take a dive here. And then at the end, I'll show you RescueVoice, which is an app that's specifically designed for this. Primarily medical type related emergencies. So let's take a look at Avaz. And you're going to find, I'll show you how to use the search. So let's first search for the word emergency. See path, transportation, road emergency,
Emergency.
emergency. And on that same page, you'll see some roadside assistance, emergency helpline, things related to like a road emergency. If I wanted to find call 911, whoops, sorry. Let's get back over to my main keyboard here. 911, see path, that's under topics. I need help.
Call 911.
And I liked how those were big, easy to use buttons there. So you're seeing what I'm showing you here is all within 3 hits on this large grid size. This is the 117 size grid. But even the couple below that still had this same vocabulary. Natural disasters, so things like tornadoes, which we've had a lot of here in November in Oklahoma. That's not usually a thing here this particular time of year, but it has been lately. Topics, nature, tornado. And you can see there it also has blizzard, fire, flood, cyclone, earthquake, volcano, tsunami. I thought it was interesting that it did not have the word hurricane. So I would edit to add that. You could edit to add other things. And then it also has a pain scale. Let me go back. Under topics, pain. So here's where you would find medical type related, talking about in pain, what part of the body, and then you can go to a pain scale right here within the app. All right, so that is Avaz, and that's a look at the largest grid size. But like I said, the ones right below that still have the same content. Next up is Speak for Yourself. So let me get over to Speak for Yourself. Let it load. It's really easy to find within 2 hits under Help and Because. So let's look at Because first. Here's where you'll find a lot of vocabulary related to natural disasters, weather, so avalanche, blizzard, flood, mudslides, tsunamis, tornadoes, vortex. Like, they really have a lot in here related to that. Okay, let's go back. And let's look for the word emergency. It's under help.
Emergency.
And so then that's where you're going to find things like disaster, emergency, 911, FEMA, generator, hazard, oxygen, shelter, like just a lot related to what might be going on in an emergency. It does not have a pain scale, but you could create your own. All right, so next, and all of the vocabulary in Speak for Yourself is available within 1 to 2 hits. What I just showed you is within 2 hits. Okay, Weave Chat AAC, and this is the Morgan board, but you would have this same content regardless of what your setup looks like here. I often use the scrolling board on my iPhone, and it has the same content. It's just looks a little different on the screen. All right, so on this one, if you go over to Safety and Emergency, so the bottom middle part of the screen, right above and slightly to the left of the keyboard, you see Safety and Emergency. So super easy to get to. And I really liked how they had this organized. You have emergency personnel. You have natural disasters. And again, they have all the ones that I would think of where I live. If you have other ones, then you could add them. Let's see, let's go into hazards. Back. Sensory supports. I am allergic to, which there's 2 common things here, but there's lots of room to personalize that. I have. So a quick way to talk about things that you need to convey in an emergency. Evacuate, rescue, and then the word emergency, exit, and I need help.
I need help.
And that's my Apple personal voice in here. And I want to look to see if the word volcano was in there. We don't have those anywhere near. No, volcano's not in here. So if you live in an area where there are volcanoes and eruptions, then that would be one that you would need to add. But as far as the top 3, and there's varying degrees of this type of vocabulary in other AAC apps, but it was more limited and often took more than 3 hits to get to. All right, so I'm going to show you the app that's specifically designed for emergency situations. It's called RescueVoice, and this is on my iPad. It's also available on Android. What I really like here is they have an instructions area teaching the communication partner basic concepts related to partner-assisted scanning. So, say an EMT or firefighter, police officer needed to be able to use this app with someone, they could at a glance have some instructions on how to do that if the person isn't able to access the app by pointing and touching. All right, so back to the main. So you have a pain scale right here. Yes, no, chest pain, belly pain, fall, dizzy, trouble breathing, hospital, do not resuscitate, body parts, a pain diagram so you can touch.
Front of head.
And it talks.
Stomach.
And then you have a pain scale.
Worst pain imaginable.
And you have a place over here to talk about the type of pain.
Dull. Sharp. Radiating.
Symptoms and time related, so be able to talk about when that was happening, which all the AAC apps that I just showed you that are robust would have vocabulary related to time of day and all of that. Allergies and medications, people and places, firefighter and police, and then there's a typing area to be able to type out anything that's not available within there. So this was just a quick look, and for additional details, you'll see this row in my next update for the feature matching chart.